Hi guys. Okay, so I'm gonna start doing my wrap-ups for the books that I read while I was in Europe. I think I read like 15ish or 16. It's gonna be basically like the last wrap-ups I did was for the TBR Takedownathon readathon thing, I think. So this is just gonna be kind of like what I've read in Europe, and then there's a couple of things that I read since I've been back that I'll add on at the end too, because there's only two more things and August is over, so that would be pointless. So the first thing that I read was The Childhood of Jesus by J.M. Coetzee, who I mentioned in the book haul is a South African author, and I've read a couple of his books. Yeah, so this is interesting. I haven't done a wrap in a while. This is uncomfortable a little bit. So this is a story of a man who has a child, and they've recently immigrated from a country. I don't remember if they specifically said where, but I think it's Spanish because his name is Simon. Like it has the little accent on it, so maybe it's some kind of Spanish-speaking country, and they've immigrated to a different country who I also can't remember. I want to say it's someplace in Europe, but that could be a complete lie. So the whole goal is to try to find this young man's mom. So the main character, Dave, I think it's no, Simon is the main character, and so he's trying to find David, the young boy's mom, and it's just very interesting. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. It's not my favorite Coetzee novel that I've read. It's very interesting. He does find a woman that he says is David's mother, even though she's not technically his biological mother. He just like feels it kind of that she is meant to be David's mom. And there's some kind of like weird instances that happen between the little kid and the mom that I thought were kind of creepy, but then it didn't like mention it later. Like I thought it was foreshadowing something else, and that didn't happen. So I don't know what the point of that kind of uncomfortableness was. I thought it was good. I gave it 3 stars. I wouldn't recommend it like over, Disgrace or Slow Man. I thought both of those were really, really good novels, and this was just like, it was an enjoyable read, but yeah. And then the next book that I read was The Picture of Dorian Gray, which I feel like everyone kind of probably knows what it's about. This young man, Dorian, oh, my book is getting bad, gets a portrait made of him by his friend. It starts off from his point of view. I don't know what his name was, the painter, and he paints Dorian, who he thinks is like this beautiful man, and then Dorian kind of makes like some kind of, not bet, like contract. I don't know, he basically says like, oh, I would do anything to like, have the picture get old for me and like show my sins, and then I can stay beautiful and young forever. And then he meets one of the artist's friends, who is Lord Henry Wotton, and he kind of like turns Dorian into a not so great person, and then it's just kind of what happens. And I thought this was really good. I gave this 4 to 5 stars. It was my first Oscar Wilde. I really enjoyed it. I kind of feel like based on like society, I kind of knew what the premise was and what the ending was, but it was still like super, super shocking when the ending happened for some reason to me. So I definitely recommend this if you haven't read it. Very, very good. And the next book was Little Stranger by Sarah Waters. Oh my gosh, please go read this if you haven't read it yet. This is so good. It's my first Sarah Waters novel, and I like want to go buy all of her books, but obviously I'm not going to right now. And so I'm sad I have to wait a little bit, but this was incredible. It's the story of a doctor who has kind of, ever since he was a little kid, been enamored of this beautiful house. I forget if it's the Ayers family, and it's Hundreds Hall is the name of the house, and he like has admired it since he was a little kid, and then as an adult he has the opportunity to go to it because the doctor who usually is helping the family is unable to, so he goes, and it's a mom and a son and a daughter who live there now, and the house has kind of become decrepit and older, and he starts the doctor, he kind of gets involved in the family, and it's just incredible. I love Yamini from the Skeptical Reader's review of this book. Don't read it because it's big old spoiler, but if you've read the book and you read her review, you know why. It's perfect. I absolutely loved this book. Please go read it. And then the next one that I read was The Salmon Who Dared to Leap Higher by An Do Hyun, who I still can't find the dang translator for some reason, but this is the first novel by this author to be translated, I'm pretty sure, into English. And he's Korean. He won the Young Poets Award in 1996. And this is just like a really nice fable. It's about this salmon and like the hardships of salmon because they have to jump over stuff to get to where they need to go to lay the eggs. And he has this like existential crisis, I guess. He loves like going. He almost dies a few times because he loves going to the surface of the water because he thinks it's so beautiful, like looking up at the sky. There's him looking up at the sky, and then he kind of like falls in love with the female salmon, and she's like, oh, we need to go make babies. And he's like, well, is that all there is to life, is just like going and procreating basically? And I thought it was like a really sweet fable about, I think you would classify it as a fable because it says it's a modern fable about finding freedom and a harmony with nature we have either forgotten or lost in the binding realities of life. That's a quote from the Inside Flap. I thought this was gorgeous. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. Really nice read, and it's very small, so that's also good. And then the next book that I read was Ali Smith's How to Be Both, which I thought was great. I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. I really liked it. I don't unfortunately remember a whole lot of it. I think I read this like in a day or 2 days or something, and I must have been distracted while I was reading, but I did really enjoy it. I feel like you've probably heard of this book because it's super popular right now. There's 2 different stories, one that takes place in modern day, and then one that takes place kind of like in the 1800s, I think. Just kidding, 1460s. A child. It's about a Renaissance artist of the 1460s and a child of the 1960s. So it is present day and the 1400s, I guess. And they're 2 separate stories, but they kind of interweave together a little bit. On my version, I think that it could be either way, like one first and then the other. So the next time that I read it, I want to read because mine had the present day and then the 1460s, so I want to read the 1460s one first and then the modern day next. And it's just like a nice, sweet story about relationships and all. I thought it was touching, but again, I don't unfortunately remember a whole bunch of it because problems. So those are the first 5 books that I read while I was on my trip. I'll talk about the other ones in another part of this video. And I'm going to do one giveaway for the whole summer because again, I am poor and don't have a job yet. Sorry guys. So I'll do that. I'll do like a separate video for that when I'm done with all of my wrap-ups, and then maybe have like you can pick a book or something. I'm not sure. Okay. Thanks for watching. Bye.